smoky clubs to fields of green, her life took a turn, but her rhythm's still the same. Feel the passion burn. On stage she was a queen, now the land's a throne. Every note she sang now echoes in seeds she's sown. Her journey's just begun, a new chapter in her song. Watch her dance with the seasons, right where she belongs. She was a jazz and blues singer, making her way around the world. The journey stopped, but the song did not. So what's going on with you, girl? She started a YouTube channel and learned how to grow veggies, fruits, and bread, and a bunch of chickens in a row. Diva of the stage to diva in the dirt. Same diva, new life, diva in the dirt. Singing sweet melodies now with the earth. From city lights to moonlit nights, she's found her worth. With every seed she plants, a new story grows. From the mic to the soil, a rhythm she knows. Diva in the dirt, watch her thrive and gleam. Same passion, new dreams on the homestead scene.
Well, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to have you all here today. Very exciting show for me. This is a pop-up. I'm popped up because I don't usually do shows in the daytime. I'm a early evening, from the, Pacific Northwest, but I have a special guest all the way from England that's going to be joining me, so I'm very excited. But I do just want to do a little bit of housekeeping, and I do also want to just say thank you to the members that are members of the Diva in the Dirt Club, my good posses that have taken out membership. I do really appreciate it. And for all of you, you're all welcome to also support this channel. And I just have the 99-cent one that goes on, costs you $1 a month. And it does help to support myself with buying equipment and buying resources and things like that, just to help grow my channel and grow food here, so which is wonderful. So thank you all for that are a part of that. So I do I know you all know why you're here, because you're coming to meet Joe from Muddy Puddles. And one point I'm going to just probably say, so actually, yeah, let's just do, here's two more housekeeping things. If you don't already subscribe to Joe, when you go to subscribe to her, like if you're watching, let's say you're watching on a desktop, just put the tab up and put Joe's, because I don't want you to leave this chat, because I want you to get to hear her. But just put another tab up, so you got Joe's YouTube channel up. Then when the show is over, go and watch at least 3 minutes worth of Joe, and then click subscribe, because then it sticks. Because I've been in interviews where I've come in and it's like after the interview I get a whole bunch of subscriptions, but nobody watched, because they go, yeah, I'm going to watch later. And the algorithm goes, oh, we don't know if you're real, that you really want to be following Muddy Puddles Farm. And so then they take them away. So I really want to encourage you to make sure that you spend a little time on Joe's site, so that that subscription sticks, because she is a wealth of knowledge and she is wonderful to learn from. And the other little bit is that if you have a question, because I'm not going to be looking so much in the chat, but if you have a question, put it all in cap locks so that I can see it, and that I can make sure that I bring that up on the screen. So anyway, thank you all for coming and spending time. So this day I am honored to welcome Joe from Muddy Puddles Farm in the UK. Joe has spent over 20 years dreaming. Oh my gosh, that just makes me emotional. Waiting and working towards the life she has now. It's just like, she did it. I just love it. Oh, building a small holding rooted in patience, community, animals, flowers, and deep respect for the land. Her channel, it's not about the trends or perfection. It's about real learning, gentle wisdom, and oh, I just lost my little page here that I was reading up. wisdom, and what it looks like to grow a life slowly and intentionally. I am so grateful to share her with you today. So please welcome Joe to the stage. Oh, I guess I gotta make us both here. There we go. Welcome, Joe. Yeah.
Wow.
Before you say anything else, just let me. I didn't have this up here because I need to put my welcome, Joe. I don't know how to do all those trends. So anyway, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So I am just going to do a quick little look through the chat and just to make sure that I haven't missed anybody. So again, remember, if you do have a question as we're talking, oh yes, we got a lovely group of people. So welcome all of you, because I wanted our focus. I didn't want us to be long. I will put this up because Robin did put up the actual pause sound. That might be wash your hands symbol, but that's okay. We'll take it as a pause. And I want us to really let Joe have a long time to really talk and ask questions and stuff like that. So, so my very first question that I'm going to be asking her, I'm just going to bring them up on here. So this is the one I want to know. You've dreamed of owning land for years. What kept you going during all that waiting? What is it?
I think for me, it was the fact that I didn't spend the time waiting, if that makes sense. I was a very busy person, raising children and a family and working and all those things. But I made the most of what was available to me. So even if that was a very small garden, even if that was some tubs, I would grow. And I would use whatever I had, windowsills and all sorts. My husband was in the military, and so we moved every 3 years. It made gardening very tricky because everything you put into a military garden, into a military quarter, had to be removed, and you have to leave it as lawn. So there was a lot of container growing. There was a lot of making gardens and unmaking gardens. I did get an allotment at one time, but again, you never stay still for very long. So it was always make the most of what you got. And also, I used all that time to do lots of research, studying and learning, and not necessarily about gardening. I learned about canning, about preserving, making bread, and DIY skills. If you're going to have a small holding, you have to be good at DIY. And so I did a lot of that too.
Right. Yeah, I totally would expect that. And I love the fact that you go, you're starting from ground zero every time you moved, and then you have to put it all back. And so I guess in that you're really learning the depth of what works fast, what works, it's like it was a real training ground for you, so it wasn't like you were bereft of, I've never grown, I can't grow, I'm waiting, but it was like it was an education. But how do you be patient is my question, because I'm like, sell the house, let's go, without having any knowledge.
It literally was just, I have to knuckle down. I have to make sure that when this does happen, I have everything I need to make it work. It did help finding places I could volunteer. I did a lot of work in with the RHS, which is the Royal Horticultural Society in England. I did some practical courses. We have National Trust that own a lot of gardens and properties, and through the RHS you could go and garden there. So there were opportunities as well. But if anyone knows anything about the RHS, particularly a while ago, they are traditional gardeners where roses get sprayed, where things grow in rows. It wasn't really how I liked to grow, but at least I had the land and at least I got to play in the dirt.
Right. And the rototilling, it's all that, yeah. And that's how we all grew up, right? So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so then what finally made this the right moment to step into your smallholding life? What brought it out?
Well, we have been looking for a long time for land, and every time we thought we'd saved enough, the price of land had gone up, and it was a never-ending cycle of, okay, we've got the money, oh no we don't. And my husband, I love him so very much, he said, we paid our mortgage off, we're going to remortgage the house and buy you some land. And that's what we did.
He is a keeper then.
He is a keeper. He's a keeper. So we remortgaged and we purchased the land. And what we did last year was because all of us were at the right phase. They'd either just finished school and were starting college, finished college and were starting to look for work, or they were between schools. So there was a natural break in every single children's lives that coincided in the same year, which doesn't happen when you have lots of children. And it just worked that was the year that we could go. So we did.
Right. That's awesome. Yes, I'm sorry, Dusty Flats, there is background noise. So what I'll do is I will mute myself. I think I have family here. I've got my niece and her 3 littles here, and they're playing Skippo in behind me. So I will just, yeah, and I did notice that, Joe, your mic would cut out there with that last bit there too. So I'm not sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I don't think it was to do with here. I think it sounded more electronically. So I will take myself out, and I'm assuming they're going to be finishing up their game there shortly. So, so my next one is, you're doing a self-sufficiency challenge. What is the reason, and what are the challenges that you are facing right now with this?
Oh, so the reason I did the challenge, I'm kind of doing the challenge to see which ways I fail. And that sounds totally weird. The idea is there are so many people that go, be self-sufficient, be self-reliant. This is an exercise in going, look at the community I needed. Look at what I've created through, which is, with the trade and the barter. Because even though I intend to use everything from the farm, I can't not buy animal feed. That's not something that I can produce. So I'm kind of starting from a knowing that I couldn't be completely self-sufficient. For me, pinning down the fundamentals, what I am able to do. The very first live, somebody went, oh, you need to get goats. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I need goats. And so the next day I was Googling, where can I buy a goat? What do I need to get a goat? And it's just, this is, I was like, no, this is an experiment in what can I do? What can I achieve? And I think I can achieve a lot, but it's also an experiment in, I can't do this alone. Nobody can do this alone. Everybody needs a community. These are how you make connections. These are the connections I've made. See what you can do in your own community.
Right. I love it. I love that. Again, it's very similar to how in the 20 years of you waiting to get your allotment, you're now in that phase of, okay, here's another test. I'm going to use myself as, how does this work? What do I need? What can I provide for myself? What can I do in trade with someone else? And things like that, because it's like, yeah, we can't do it all on our own. I love that. I love that you love teaching yourself and letting yourself, you're the teacher, the student, right? I guess I'm just not a person that has that kind of patience. That's how I'm looking at it. Let's go and see here. Yeah, and so this kind of goes right along with this. Trading eggs for milk is brilliant. How important are local farm connections to you?
Well, I think for this year, they're going to be vital. Otherwise, I'm going to be very hungry. But it's not just what can I eat. I barter a lot for tool use. So I have a neighbour that grazes horses, but she sends her husband to cut my grass with his tractor, because I don't have a tractor. So there's, already there are tools and skills that I don't have, that I trade for, use of my land or something I have. And that's really, really, really useful for me. Advice. I've always gardened. We kept animals when I was a child, but I was quite young when we didn't have animals anymore. I was about 11 or 12. I don't remember all the animal husbandry stuff from
Right.
back then.
Yeah.
So, you know, I go and I say, hey, this thing happened. Is that normal for a sheep? Is that normal for a pig? And just get the advice. I mean, there's so much more to them, you know, hoof trimming and fly strike, and there's so many things that happen. You're like, okay,
Yes.
I'm
I just saw that the other day. It was someone that was showing, and I don't remember. I think it was goats, and they were like, yeah, you know, it's like they know how to do the trimming of the hooves, and showed how easy it was. I'm looking at it going, I have to trim their hooves as well. You don't know these things. That it's like there is a lot to taking care of an animal. So it's brilliant.
Well,
So
imagine how horrified I was when I discovered that I had to use a needle and inject a 120 kilo pig and make it very cross with the wormer. That's how you worm them. It's like, oh, just stab it in the neck quick. I'm like, what? And run?
I do want to have pigs one day, and then, except for maybe not. There was a little kind of mini conference about pigs up island here, and she had the kind that had the big horns, and she said, number one, she said, you can't have nice things if you have pigs, like for her, like for what these were. And she said, even my favorite pig, who was always very kind to me, she said, I said his name and he turned around and she got shanked in the side. She said, I have spent so much time in the hospital from being injured from pigs. I stayed up until the lunchtime. Yeah, exactly. So I stayed up to lunchtime, and I went to her and I said, okay, we're going to leave. Thank you for showing me that I do not want pigs. And she says, my work here is done. You know, because it's so many people like, yeah, we'll just get and then they have to stop because they were not prepared. So even though I was a negative, it's a negative positive experience. It's like she was happy that I could see this is not something just like that, just to take on. Like it's going to involve a whole lot more. So you know, that kind of thing.
I do like to keep it real. I think there's a video where I showed how the end of the pig arc had just been pushed out completely by my pig, and there's another bit. There's a big 2x4 piece of wood that they've just bitten through. That's a huge chunk of wood. It's just like, yeah, they break things. Look, they're eating the house.
Yes, you go. You can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things, because you people are here. We can't have the nice things that we would like to have. And also one of the other things she said, and you know, when you have your little baby boys, you know, she said you can take them and go and have them castrated, but you know, it's like if you do it yourself, cheaper, blah blah blah. She said, but make sure that you move to another city to go and do it, because if that mama hears that little piglet screech out, it doesn't matter. She said they will bust through anything, over brick walls, anything to go and protect their little piglet. And it's like, that's why Maureen's not getting that. And Dee's not getting paid. No. But I think if I get little ones, I think that'll be okay. So anyway, yeah, I'm you know, kudos to you, and probably I will have, because I like the idea of having pigs for it's for things that you're throwing out, because they'll eat them, you know. So it's taking away some of that waste and creating, you know, more compost for your you know, it's that circle of life,
Yeah,
right?
you get
So
a lot of compost. You get a lot of manure for your compost. But I'm going to walk my pigs up. So I've put a tarpaulin over what will be my annual veg bed this year, and I stacked it about 15 inches high with grass clippings.
Right.
I am going to take the pigs and walk up. I'm going to fence that area. I'm going to work around and about so I can keep an eye on them. They're going to stay
Right.
there for a day and turn in all that top. I'm just going to let them do the digging.
Yes. It's so good to have
I'm
that
a no
experience.
dig gardener. I don't do digging. I'll let them.
That's right. You guys,
And
can you
then-
guys work this into the soil, please?
They will also add manure. Be great.
Yes, exactly. So you just like win, 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 and I'll just sit here with my lemonade, you know, sitting outside.
I'll be
so-
chasing the pheasants off that are trying to eat everything at the moment.
That's right. I think I did. Did I do trading? We did just do trading eggs. I'm totally off. Trading eggs for milk is brilliant. How important are local farmer connections to you? Did we do this one or not? I should keep track of where I'm at.
We did. And the next
Yep.
one was
This one. What inspired you to start bartering instead of
Yes, this
always
one.
buying?
Well, the challenge is making me. I have to.
Yeah.
I hope to demonstrate the need for community in this, but I've always had a little bit of a bartering spirit in me.
Yes.
We lived in High Wycombe, which is further up country. Anyone from the UK will know where that is. And my neighbour, I used to feed them all my vegetables all year and spare. And the neighbour was mechanic, and I didn't ever have to do anything to my car. He would fix it, service it, take it down, get the MOT done. Didn't have to do anything. So my car, that was taken care of. I had no car repair bills for the 10 years I lived there.
Wow.
And they didn't have a food bill for any vegetables.
Right. You see,
That's
it's
great.
just it's so fabulous. It's such a win-win situation. I have heard other people, and and it's like when you do get into these, a rural community, or even like I'm in an urban center, it's like make connections, good connections with your neighbors, because that's where you go, oh, you have that skill. Well, what can I trade with you? Just hang on a second. Okay, it's just it is a squirrel. I thought it was like, is that a cat? Sorry, you're distracted there. Pardon me. It's Jason from Seven Kin Homestead. He's a huge promoter of that, and he says even if you don't have a skill, he said start looking for a skill, because he said he knows how to weld with plastic, and when you've got people who've got water tanks and stuff like that, if something goes wrong, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to replace it. But if you know someone, so you go, I know Jason, I don't or I know him, but I don't live in his community. And so, he says, I've got, I do work of repairing welding of the plastic. And he says, and I get free water delivered to my house. And you're like, bingo, there it is. So that is awesome. Yeah, I love that. But I love how your mind thinks of this, because it's like, I don't know what I'm going to need. So if I do this challenge, and it's going to show me what I need and who I can count on. Like it's like, I love how you have, it's like, I'm just looking at what I want. You're looking, how do I get there so that I get what I want? See, this is why I go, people need to understand who you are and follow you for this reason, right? Because it's like, and I'm not just, trying to puff you up. It's like, I love that. So, okay. So tell us about the milk urn. It feels like it's a symbol for your self-sufficient life.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I hadn't even thought of it that way. I was just like, oh, something I need, I'll get one. I was quite proud of it, because I showed it, but look what I've got. In my last slide, like, look, it's got a little tap. I was very excited about it. And I just, when you asked me the question, I thought about it. I thought, it does. Because when I bought it, I thought, I'm going to get dairy at some point.
Yeah.
So I'll need a milk urn. And that's what it represents. It represents that I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards it. I think that's what it means. I think that's, I think it's just, it's, I'm still learning. I've got a couple of years, I think, before I get dairy.
Yeah, but you see, you always do this kind of preparation. There's this prepping, and in a gentle way. It's like, nope, don't have it now, but I'm gonna get there. And it's like I get goosebumps when I listen to you talk like that. It's so inspiring. Like it's just so inspiring. And I'm hoping okay, this is about me right now. I hope my takeaway is that I learned just to stop and stop looking at the finish line and being depressed that I'm not at the finish line and go, okay, so what are my little steps that I'm going to do as I learn and go along the way? I love that. Just love this all about you. Why weren't we best friends 20 years
The journey is
ago?
important.
Journey.
The journey is important.
I know that. I know that. But go ahead.
It's like when you have children. I know when I have my son, I think, what's he going to be like when he's an adult? How's he going to do in school? And it took about a couple of years before I thought, oh, hang on, he's growing up a bit quickly. Actually, I don't want to think about what he's going to be like in school. Yeah. I want to be with him today where he is now, because you know what we've done weaning and potty training and walking and first words and yes, I was there and I enjoyed all of them, but my goodness me, it's easy to miss. So that for me was a big lesson in be present now, don't miss now. And I cried on his 9th birthday and my husband was like, why is that? I said, well, he's halfway to 18. That's halfway grown up. I'm halfway already and it doesn't feel like long enough.
No, I hear you. I hear you. But you see, we all, like, people always say, it's the journey. It's like you go, yeah, I just want to get to this point. Yeah, well, it's the journey. And you hear that. But I'm hearing a tangible person talk about how they created that journey. I'm sure in the midst of it, you weren't like, okay, well, I better, at the very beginning, I'm learning all these things because one day, maybe you did say that. But it's like, I love your intention. I love that. You don't just say, oh, it's all part of the journey. It's like you actually, I can hear what these things are and then take inventory for my own self and go, because I do have that sort of thing. I'm growing in a little urban center so that I can learn how to grow, when I do get a piece of property, right? So that is kind of my stance, but my brain doesn't always like stay there, Marie. It's like, okay, that doesn't work. This doesn't work. What else are you going to do? So that's awesome. So, and with that, I do want to just say, if you're enjoying Joe's story and wisdom, I really encourage you to visit Muddy Puddles Farm and support her by subscribing. She truly is a gift to not only this YouTube community, but also her community about where she lives. So it's just fantastic. I am just going to go and make sure just to see if there is anybody that has had a question, or maybe I'll even just leave questions to the end. So yeah, David, I know that is about me. Patience, Maureen Shaw. Yeah, I got that. But I love how the intention, how you live your life. I love hearing that. So it's excellent. So I think I will just go back out and we will come back with some questions. So Shawnee, and thank you to Shawnee Grows, who is kind of moderating a little bit more in the background for me, a little bit more intentional. So I do appreciate that. So sorry if I'm missing anything, Shawnee. You can always, I don't know, throw me a message some other way. So you're building slowly and intentionally, which we were just talking about. How do you decide what comes first?
I want it all now. That's what I want. But
okay, good. She's normal.
And everything will be done. No. Infrastructure. I don't have a barn. I had raw land when I started. I started by making sure I have water, making sure that I have power and somewhere to keep my tools. And then as I've added things that I know that I can house and manage adequately. So, if a plant dies, it's not a disaster. So the garden went in.
Right.
It's not like livestock. You turn up one day and your livestock's not doing very well. You've made a bad mistake. That's not the mistake you want to make. I have had a lot of experience with poultry. I've kept that in multiple places I've lived, and so I knew poultry. So I started with poultry. That gets me my protein source, my eggs and my chicken meat. And I always knew I wanted pigs. Now, you will love this. I was really impulsive. I came down to look at the land because we lived quite far for a few years before we moved to the land after we bought it. I brought my children down and we went to see my neighbour, and they just had a litter of pigs, and they cuddled them and they loved them and they wanted them the most. And then my neighbour piped up, "This one hasn't sold yet." And that's Ava. And I purchased her 6 whole months before we moved. And then paid board and lodging for her to stay with my neighbour until I had an ark built and everything was ready for her. So I didn't buy her without a plan. I knew she'd be safe there. I knew she'd be looked after.
Yes.
But it was a bit like all the kids were like, "Please, we can name it, please." So that was my one impulsive, not intentional thing.
No. Yeah, I did the same. I got my first set of chickens with no coop or anything. I just had them in a tote in my dining room, and it was like, yeah, we'll get around to building a coop eventually. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I hatched all my own chickens. So
goals.
I don't buy chickens in. If you buy in a hatching egg and you hatch an egg, it won't bring any disease onto your property.
Okay.
Once you get a chicken, like an adult chicken, if it's been if it's had anything from its previous surroundings, it will bring that to your flock and you have to isolate it. I've only made that exception once, and that's because there was a beautiful cockerel or rooster, and I really needed one. But he was in isolation for 8 weeks, bless him, on his own. He arrived with scaly leg mite and mites and things, and he needed treatment. He could see the other birds. They were within clucking distance, but he couldn't go in with them because he just have.
Yeah.
No.
So would you ever, because all the ones, well, not all, most of the ones I've purchased have always just been like they were born yesterday and now they're in my hand.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty similar to hatching them yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or
pretty,
not
pretty
still.
Similar. Pretty similar. Yeah. I think probably the only thing that they'd be at risk of is Merrick's disease, but that seems to be in the land anyway.
Yeah.
If you keep your chickens healthy and well-fed and balanced diet, they tend to not suffer with that. Something like a more fancy breed, like a Silky or a Polish, might struggle, but the really robust egg-laying birds seem to manage it okay, as long as you
because I think I did
house them and
pick
feed
up
them well.
some they were 12 weeks. I only did the 2, and I didn't read the fine print, and so I got a hen and a cockerel at the same time. It was like
lucky.
So it was, I had Gertie and Millie, and then eventually Millie turned to Billy, and I cannot have a rooster in this area, so we did find someone to take him, and he was beautiful. He was a part of their green laying. Why can't I think of what they are? Anyway, beautiful. And so I did find somebody that would take him, and because there was a flock of flock of hens that needed a male, and then they sent me a picture a few months later, and her son named him Carlos. So he went from Millie to Billy to Carlos, the Latin lover for his ladies, and he was beautiful. He was beautiful.
I would say if you do need to buy an adult birds, because I still sell adult birds. If you do need to get in adult birds, and you have chickens already, I would just give them an amount of time quarantined in a separate area, so that there's no, and just really pay attention and look carefully at them, see how they're doing. This chap came to me, and he was a bit flighty. He hadn't been handled, but as soon as he started coming up and feeding from my hand, and I got to know him, I could see that his scales were raised and there were problems there. It took him about 2 or 3 weeks to trust me to pick him up and wrap him in a towel and have a really good inspect of his feet and things.
Yeah, that's it's a tough one. But yeah, I mostly get day old chicks is what I end up with.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I don't know if I interrupted you in regards to this. How do you decide what comes first? Because I probably interrupted and, you know,
No, we went off on a tangent. I think that was my
I
fault.
know it was like, it's like, here, let's go over
I just
here.
went off.
And,
I went
it's
off
like,
on chickens.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because I do
and
want to make sure we
yeah,
get everything that you have.
infrastructure to
Yes,
make sure that you have in place what you need. And the first thing was water. The next thing was somewhere to store my tools and power.
yes.
You have to have a reality check. What can you manage? What do you have time for? What can you keep in a good and healthy way? And animal welfare has to come as a top priority. You
Yes.
can't run out and get animals and then you haven't got time to feed them. You can't afford to feed them. You haven't got enough water buckets and things like that. So yeah, a reality check on the time you have available, the skill you have, and the finances. And the reason I don't yet have a dairy cow is because I don't have robust enough fencing to keep them on my property.
Okay.
I have to put stock fencing in, and that is a big expense, so that's going to have to wait. And in the UK, I don't know about the USA, we have to have a regular tuberculosis test for cows.
Okay.
And the vet will not see a cow unless it's in a cattle crush. And a cattle crush in itself is a piece of equipment that can be about £1,000 if you get second hand, up to many thousands of pounds if you're a big dairy.
Yeah.
But they don't. 10 years ago, they'd have let you just hold to tie them to a fence, but now they're like, no, health and safety, they've got to go into a cattle crush. So,
and what do you call that?
A cattle crush. So it's like a big metal box. They walk in one end, and then a collar, like doors close, and it fits like a collar, so they can't.
So it's like
go in, and you close the door behind them quickly, so they can't back out. And then
so it's like a stanchion.
They can't accidentally. They can't accidentally crush or hurt anyone.
Okay. Is that for transporting them?
No, that's for any physical examination or working with them closely. So cows can also need their hooves trimming.
Yes.
They have to have their tuberculosis test every 6 to 12 months, depending on the risk factor in your farm. And the other thing is antibiotics. And anytime you're going to use a needle, that animal may react, and they are just too big to take the risk with. So
that's right.
Yeah.
I don't want to get crushed. I need the cattle non-crusher, the cattle preventing.
There are a lot of farmers in the UK that get injured because cattle are so gentle, you don't think about it. And even not meaning to, if they get curious about what you're doing and they all come towards you and you get surrounded, you can very easily get injured by them just kind of being around you. It's not a thing to not take seriously.
Seriously. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do that. All right. So then let's move over. We're going to just change a little bit of our topic, and we're going to move into the flowers. So your flower farm idea is beautiful. What do you hope people experience when they visit?
Oh, I told my husband the answer to this question. He went, "Oh my gosh, you are a hippie. As a peace, joy, community." That's what I want. I said, and a great big hug. I want them to feel like they're being hugged. So for me, I'm really passionate about young people being interested in growing, not necessarily farming, but knowing where their food comes from, how to grow food, how to grow flowers, how everything works together, why bees are important, all those good things. And so the idea is to appeal to families to come along.
Yes.
And just get an education, see the bug houses all over the place, to look at how, different colours and, boys love a giant sunflower, don't they?
Yes.
They just like that giant, wow, I grow one of those. And my boys always opted for growing the biggest pumpkin they could.
Yes.
But all my kids, every year they got to choose one thing that was theirs, because I didn't want them overwhelmed, or I didn't want them to see gardening as a chore. I wanted it fun as adventure. And so they
Right.
choose one thing. Girls chose flowers. The boys always chose something giant like a pumpkin or a sunflower.
Hmm.
But it's just kind of just to get people involved and out there and thinking about that. I
Hmm.
also want people to think about farming differently.
Right.
I don't know what you're like in the USA, but in the UK, when I bought this and said I'm going to be a farmer, everyone, oh, you'll just lose money on that. It will just cost you so much money. You'll never make any money. It's not big enough. I mean, what can you keep on there? 1.5 cows. So there was a lot of criticism, and you can make a living on a very small space.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
kind of like determined to, like you, there is an entry point. You don't have to have £1 million to buy a farm.
That's
You
right.
can start with something quite small
Yes.
and quite manageable. You don't need a tractor, although I would really
Nope.
like one. You can start with some basic tools, a little bit of
Yeah.
land. You don't even have to buy it. You can rent it,
Yes.
and you look what you can create. And it's so much more diverse and so much more interesting, and it
Absolutely.
feeds into the community. So that's
Abs-
kind of where I'm going with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Where I used to purchase my raw milk, he only had 2 acres. I think he was only 2 acres of land, and I think he had 6 or so cows. Or he says, yeah, they're not. There isn't a lot to eat off the land, so he is bringing in his feed and everything like that. But it's like I know that I think I can even have a mini cow. Like I'm just under a quarter of an acre on my my homeland here. But
You
I
could
could
have a
have a little
Dexter. You could have
Dexter.
a Dexter. Yeah.
Mm, nice. Well, my daughter she would like a mini cool, and she'd like a mini goat, and she'd like all the little mini animals, except for when it comes to spiders, she's not happy about that world. And then when it comes to putting the
A
chickens
mini
up,
spider.
she's concerned about rats. And I'm going, and so how are you going to have a mini cool out there if you can't handle the rodent population? It's
Oh
like
yeah.
it's like but whatever.
Mouse and cats. That's your answer. Lots of mouse and cats.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that would help. Um, so what does pick your own and welcoming people into the farm, or why does it matter to you, Kim?
Oh, it kind of links in very much to the last question. It's
Yeah.
about community. It's about bringing people onto the farm. It's about sharing as well. It's like I've said it so many times on my videos and my shots. I'm like, look at where I am. Look how beautiful. I'm going to spend the rest of my life here. Look at it is so beautiful. It
Yes.
is such a nice spot. It's
Yes.
How do I get to brag about that without sharing it with other people so they know how lucky I am? It's like,
Brilliant.
made
That's
it.
right. And you have come to see. Come. I
Come see
love it.
how lucky I am. But I'm in my 50s. I'm
Mhm.
not going to be farming forever. I'm
No.
on the quest. I'm looking for somebody that will take this over. I'm
Right.
looking for not now. I'm still
Nope.
enjoying it.
Mhm.
But I'm going to be in my 70s in 20 years.
Yes.
I need to know that I'm making the land better. I'm
Yeah.
making it accessible to community, and
Love it.
somebody is going to take over, and somebody is going to continue to make sure the woodland at the bottom stays native woodland, to
Yes.
make sure the wildlife welcoming policy stays in place, to make
Yeah.
sure that there are no bug sprays and no chemicals and no fertilizers,
That's
and it
right.
doesn't go back to overgrazed land.
Yeah.
It stays diverse and it stays
I love it.
an asset to the world. That's kind of
Mhm.
that's why it's
Yeah.
important to get people in. Somebody's got to see it and
Yes.
go, I can do this. How can I
Yes.
do it? Oh, come
Yes.
here, I'll teach you. And you can take over.
Exactly. Yeah, we in I think it might be just in British Columbia here, but we have a young agrarian program, and I'm tried to get into it, but I'm kind of the old coming into it myself. But that's where they do try to match people up with somebody who has had a farm, and they are in their 80s and 90s, and they go like, our kids don't want it, so here is somebody that will come and manage it, possibly purchase it, and keep it the same. And it's like, that is another, excellent program to have. I'm on the island here, so it's a little bit weird, but I think if I moved to the mainland, I think I would have more opportunity to go, yeah, let me, move in and take over this holding,
Sorry, I know it's, I'm not interviewing you, but is that something you're thinking about eventually or hoping to, or?
I would like property. Like I would like a piece of property. I would like to, I think 3 years ago, it was like, yeah, I would like, some pigs. And I want a self-sufficient farm where you have everything, edible that you need, in your meats and stuff like that. And to move even into cows. And like you, I kind of went, okay, let's learn about chickens. So I have had a vet come, yeah, it's going to cost me $150 for him to come. But I went to vet school at that moment for, that half hour that he's here with me. I learned so much for my $150 on chicken husbandry. And then I found somebody who was dressing meat birds. So I said, could I come out and help? And she said, sure. And she's a master dresser. So I'm learning from the best on how to actually process meat birds. But it's like, yes, the goal is to have a piece of property where I am a bit more self-sufficient, similar to you, and making connections with people, bringing people to go, here, I want you to learn how to, where your food comes and how it grows, or to come and buy, vegetables and things like that. And I, because today was sourdough bread, so I sourdough has gone out the door. I just watched something last night that said it's not all, but sourdough in the stores, they put a little vinegar in it. And it was like, what? To give it that sour taste. They're using yeast and they just add a little vinegar. And I'm sure it's not all of them. But so I'm like, next time it's like, go and look at a package. I want to see, is that true? Because it might not be everywhere. It's just, I saw it on YouTube, so it's the truth, right? And, but it makes
Google
me go,
never lies, YouTube never lies.
Yeah. But you see, my sourdough bread is flour, salt, water. That's all. And so I want people to have good, nutritious food. Good, so where I go from here, I don't know. But again, it's not about me. Was that everything that you talking about the you pick?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think
All
so.
right. So let's move on. And you're studying permaculture. How has that changed, or you have studied permaculture? How has that changed your way you see your land? Woo-hoo.
Well, there are several things I like about permaculture. It's odd because I was thinking about where I started with this, and I remember asking somebody that had gardened, like, well, I don't just have a flower bed that's just got daffodils in. I don't have a flower bed that's just got, well, some people have rose gardens, but yeah, I've got a bit of this, a bit of that, and everything. I look at the colours and the heights and the contrast and make sure it all looks good. Like, why can't I do that with my vegetables? Because I was learning. It was a long time ago. I was quite young, and they were like, "Oh,
yeah,
you sound like one of those weird hippies." I'm like, "Oh, what weird hippies?" I don't know. We all get labelled as weird hippies. Like, oh yeah, what are they called? Permaculture or something. I was like, oh, okay. I started like researching permaculture, and there is so much online. You can look at all of Bill Mollison's old lectures on YouTube. Jeff Lawton does lots of stuff. Morag Gamble does loads of stuff. And there's lots of stuff that's right on the edge of, like, people are doing permaculture type systems with the polycultures and I don't even know they're doing it.
Yes.
And so I've absorbed as much as I can. And I love it because they talk about closed loop systems and problems being solutions. So you kind of, you have your pig, you feed it all your rubbish, you take the poop, you feed your garden, you take your produce, but the leftovers you give back to your pig. It's like this endless cycle. You get your wood trimmings, clippings, you put them in the bottom of your chicken coop, the chickens poop on it and pick through it, and they'll eat the bugs out of it, and then you rake it out the other end and you make it into compost, and you create more bushes and trees. And it's all this constant cycling of energy instead of putting everything in waste bins for somebody else to take away and deal with. You're dealing with your waste, and your waste is your solution, because I know lots of people that rake leaves and put them out for somebody, to take away, and then go to the garden centre and complain that they pay £10 for a sack of compost, or $10 or whatever you pay where you are. And it's like, you're throwing it away. Why are you throwing away compost? It's not compost yet, but you've got all the ingredients for compost.
But it's coming to it.
Away.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And people look at me mad. I have a lovely bed with dahlias and all sorts in, and the odd bit of garlic.
Mm-hmm.
Because dogs don't like garlic, but they like my dahlias. But the smell of the garlic might have helped keep them away. And mint growing up here and there, and a lot of the herbs have lovely flowers. So why do they not look right in the flower beds? So, and when you have a tiny space and you want a nice garden to sit in, but you also want to have a harvest, then nothing beats it. Mm-hmm. And now I've got a huge vegetable garden, and I'm sneaking flowers into that.
Mm-hmm. It's brilliant.
Full circle.
Yeah, it's a lot of circle of life that's going on. So that's awesome. Anything else about permaculture?
No, I was just thinking, because I've watched a really good documentary, and it was about a farmer who had the perfect drilled land, and he said he married, and his wife went, "I thought you said you were a farmer," and he said, "I am," and she's like, "Well, where are the animals?" And he said the more he thought about it, and he completely changed how he farmed. He ended up being somebody that had mixed crops. And if you think about a woodland, a forest, or any natural setting, plants and animals live together.
Yes.
And that's another thing. Everything cycles. Like farming and monocultures, they really miss out this whole.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And that's where, when I got into putting wood chips down, because and so that's sort of the back to Eden method. It was because you stop and you go, if you look out into the forest, there's nobody that's going, okay, I need to trim these down and cultivate the land. He said, you just dig down and the soil is rich because it's just, breaking down. And so you go, oh, okay. So it's not that complicated. We've made it complicated. We got all this streamlining things that, we want to make things easier, but it's like, stay in that natural place, stay in that natural environment of working with the land, utilizing all the different things. So I love that. This one. What's one lesson your animals have taught you that has surprised you? Poor Kevin.
I'm laughing because I've got a lot of answers. My first sort of jokey but serious one is they will escape no matter what.
Yeah.
Fencing. But really respecting the harvest. Just like, you have raised that animal, you've lived with that animal, and you have chosen to take its life for food. It is so much better than having meat that's come from a factory farm. It's so much healthier. Absolutely. It's so much kinder. But at the same time, you have still chosen to take a life. And some people have feelings about that. I appreciate that, but also a lot of our species would be not here if they weren't being farmed for meat. We are, in a way, conserving a lot of animals. That's one thing, but you respect the harvest.
Absolutely.
Whatever you receive in, you don't want to waste a single scrap of that, because you know what it's taken to get that. And there is an emotional toll when you decide that you're going to the abattoir or slaughter it or butcher it. There's an emotional attachment to that animal, and that's correct, because it means that the animals get well cared for. If you didn't have those feelings of respect for the harvest, then probably it's not doing it.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. There should be. They are for food, but it's the fact that you honor them. That yes, you are feeding my family, or you're feeding these families, and so we thank you for your life. We thank you that you are here for that. And I know it's just my chicken eggs, but every time I take the chicken eggs out, I always say thank you for your eggs. I always thank my chickens. Like I am appreciative of them. I don't eat. I'm not a big egg eater either. But I just, thank you for your eggs. Thank you for your time. And any of my chickens that have passed, I do thank them for their life and their time here on my farm. I agree. It's like to, um, respect the harvest and thank the harvest because it is important. It's like you are what is keeping me and my family alive. So I thank you for your time here. And yes, because you love them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And completely on another thing, if anyone's thinking of keeping animals, always keep a contingency. I've not used it yet, haven't needed it yet. Always keep a contingency fund for a vet. I'm like, if you have noticed, animal welfare is a big theme. If you've got a sick animal, you have to be able to afford the correct person to come and treat it. You can't, there's no point doing it on a shoestring budget and going, we'll wing it, we'll make it. Just that's something that has to be set in stone for my conscience and comfort.
Sorry, we've got someone's having a meltdown in the kitchen here
Oh,
right
okay.
now. So I'm still listening,
Well,
but I don't care to
that's
have you
okay.
listen to the meltdown that's happening in the kitchen. So, so
okay.
any other surprises that have, in regards to that?
It's simpler, I think, than you think. So I thought it'd be really complicated and there'd be a lot of extra tasks, but actually once you get going, as long as you keep them well housed, well bedded, well fed, you
Clean.
observe a lot. Clean, lots of observation. That I thought there'd be issues rising left, right, and centre. They escape a lot. I've still got to figure that one out.
And you can't have nice things. Don't put the nice things around any of the pens. You're not having nice things because you're just going to wreck it. You and your brother are going to wreck this nice thing, so I'm not putting it near you.
But it's madness. I had lamb. I raised lambs last year, and I bought sheep netting designed to house sheep. It's electrified netting, and one of them got tangled in it, and I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because it's not safe. It'll get tangled and stressed, and it will die. So I got rid of that. I was like, okay, what's the next product that sheep can have? And I got a really zappy electric fence, the tape, and they just walked through it. They didn't feel it, didn't care. I was like, well, this is made. It says on the label for cows, sheep, pigs. It does it all. It doesn't. They just walk through it.
You people are sheep. Why are you not? This is supposed to stop you. Be sheep. What are you?
We went to stock netting, and they did respect that, but then it was, it's a big thing to put in, and they didn't respect any of the things that the other farmers reckoned worked.
Right.
just didn't work. So
your sheep said, we're not sheep. We are we are above this sheep stuff. So what do you got, Joe?
I don't know. Well, I lost one completely. So they came from, I had 4 lambs initially, and they came from the farm next door. I turned up one morning and there was just one not there. There was no carcass, no blood, no sign of any attack. The other lambs weren't distressed. So I went down to my neighbour and, what do you make of that? And they went, oh, its mum's in that field. It's probably in there with its mum somewhere. So they'd had the lamb back, I think. And they were like, I tell you what, we'll have a quick look when we send them to slaughter. We'll probably find them then. But they've gone very quiet. So I think they had their lamb back, I think.
That's right.
It's the only explanation. It's the only explanation. But they escape, and that one escaped back.
Right.
Lost one.
That's cute. Okay, so what been your proudest? I can't believe I did this moment on the farm so far. And and it can have more than just one, because there is probably a couple where you're like, I'm proud of that, proud of that.
Do you know what? And again, it's controversial. I always worry about when I talk about this on my channel. It's butchering. So when I sent my pigs to be processed, I had a whole half side of pork sent back to me. The whole thing in one piece. And I butchered the whole thing myself in my kitchen. So I made hams, I made gammon, like horseshoe gammon steaks, I made loin pork chops, I
Just
made
pause there.
bacon.
Like, hang on, pause there. How did you know how to cut what piece for what to do? What?
I know. I didn't. but there was a YouTube channel, and the guy, they've got a smallholding. They're quite similar to me, but the gentleman is a butcher by trade.
Okay.
And he did a video when I'm going to talk through as I butcher this pig.
Yeah.
And he showed how he all the different cuts and how to do it and how to move the bones. You know, I boned things and I made rolled joints, and I did things
Bravo.
And I tell you what, I rewound and rewatched that video so many times.
A lot. All right. So we do need to give some applause to Joe right now, everybody. That's amazing. I absolutely love it.
Cures and all my own solutions for the hams to sit in.
That is something that you should be proud of. When I learned how to dress chickens, that again, because I can say like my mom, you know, she would cut up a chicken and make fried chicken when I was growing up. But I had no idea. And when I was first married, my husband, I said, like, let's chop up this chicken. Well, we were hacking at it. We were, you know, everything. And it wasn't until I was in my 40s and I was doing, gonna cut up a chicken, and this was the Skype day. So I had my mom on Skype showing me how to, you know, how to actually, okay, you feel the little joint in there, you know, that's where you're gonna go. And it was like, oh, so that, you know, my poor husband and I just hacking and trying to get them to go apart. But when I learned how to confidently go through that whole process of dressing the chicken, it was like, what a great skill set. Everybody should have this skill set, and you do feel pretty proud. But yours tops it all. Like I was given half of it back, and so I just YouTubed it. Thank you, YouTube, for allowing that kind of video to be out there for those of us that, you know, need a quick education. And there you go. You go, I have, you know, processed meat for my freezer. I love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Just brilliant. Super good. Do you have anything else that you know, I can't believe I did this moment?
That was I can't believe I did that moment all the time. It's usually because I've done something wrong. It's usually because I've done something really dumb. I'm like, that broke, or that died, not an animal, a plant, or there are lots of it's more a general thing. I did in one winter over 2 months plant 1,300 trees. When we first bought the land, we had a grant where we contributed £1 for each tree, stake, and tube. A tree stake is a £5 prospect usually, so they paid for most of it. But you have to have a minimum amount, and you have to commit to get them planted. So we had these 1,300 trees for £1,300. And they all had to be here. They arrived the earliest date there. We'll get them to as early as we can. So mid-January, and they all had to be planted before the 1st of March. And that was some going. It was a minute for the hole to get the tree in, a minute to bang the post in, and a minute to put the tube on. So I was allowing 3 minutes per tree. That's 20 an hour. It's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours.
It was really hard.
That's amazing again. Okay, so for someone who's dreaming of land, like Maureen, what would you tell them about being patient?
Oh, learn as much as you can while you have the time to learn it. Once you've got the land and you're learning on the mistakes you make are much more expensive if you make them once you've got the land. If you
Right.
go in with a plan and you work the land and you kind of have an idea, you're still learning. The wildest learning curve in the world this year. But the mistakes you make aren't quite as dire. They're kind of minimalized by learning
Yes.
what you can. You cannot talk to enough farmers and gardeners and allotmenteers, and they all know something. Even if they don't farm in the same way as you, we call them the old boys down here. They know the wet season. They know which direction the wind comes from. They know which wild creatures are going to come and terrorize you, whether that's going to be badgers or whether it's going to be pheasant, or they know it. They know the land. They've worked it. Talk to them. Some of them will have really good advice.
Yeah.
Some of them will be a bit critical, but that's okay because you can show them that you've got dedication and you are working hard, and you can gain their respect, and then they warm up to you. I'm now from the mad woman that's ruining a really good cow field. I'm now the friendly neighbour. I've been. They come, we thought you were just a mad woman that was ruining a cow field, but now we think of you as our friendly neighbour.
Oh, I love that. That is so good. That is so good. So good, Jo. Yeah, you know, you go prove to you that I'm really here for real stuff. So so our last question. So what do you hope people will feel when they watch Muddy Puddles Farm?
Oh, great big hug. I hope that they want to hope they want to come and have a visit. I hope they want to have a go at some of it. I know I'm on quite a large scale, but I've really thought about this. I'm going to work on my YouTube channel for doing things for smaller spaces. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
So no, it's right. So smaller spaces. I'm really going to town on the polyculture in my annual garden. So I'm going to show the spaces where it's quite a big garden, but actually it's separate beds where you can see, like, you can do this in a container or in a smaller bed. So I'm growing my bean teepees, and then I'm going to leave a gap in the back of my bean teepees so that when it gets too hot to grow lettuce and spinach, I'm going to grow them inside of the teepee. So the opening in the back will allow me to go in. All around, there are going to be marigolds everywhere. And I'm doing a lot of sewing is going to be in cardboard tubes. So the inserts of kitchen towel rolls and things like that.
Right.
And I'm going to put just, 3 or 4 carrot seeds in there, 3 or 4. And I'm going to use the idea of sort of square foot gardening.
Right.
But I'm going to mix them up. So you might have some beetroot and some carrots and a bunch of spring onions growing in a square foot. So you can mix and match and put whatever you want.
Love it. Love it. And I do love it.
So it'd be a true polyculture with everything mixed in, but not my onions near my peas and beans.
Note to self, yes. So I do have a couple of questions. No, I don't want to go there. I want to go here. So I won't have them up there, but from DCBs, do you keep honeybees?
I kept honeybees for decades. I kept them for so long. And when I grew up on the farm, it was always my job to go and collect the swarms. And I have, even when I was about 12, 13 years old, I would go out and collect these swarms, and I would bring them home on the bus on a box on my lap. So I have kept these. I don't anymore because I got to the point where I got stung so many times. I started becoming really reactive to the stings, and I got a sting on my elbow, and my arm swelled so much I couldn't move or bend my elbow at all.
Oh wow!
And the doctor gave me antihistamines and went, "Don't do that again," because every time, if you have that kind of allergic reaction, every time it gets worse, and you might get to the point where you're rushing to hospital because you can't breathe. Exactly. So unfortunately, I gave that up. But I do have people that are close by that keep bees. I do love they're so intriguing and fascinating. You can learn so much from them. So there is a plan. Somebody is going to put an apiary on my land, but
Perfect.
I'm not going to be farming them myself because I just can't take the risk at the moment until, you know, I get to the bottom of what's causing that.
Makes sense.
I do love bees, and I still wish I could have some.
Right. So question from Shawnee Grows. Tell us about your green manure blend on the flower farm. What did you use and how will you start the beds?
Okay, so I use green manures extensively. The one on the flower farm was a winter one. It's got rye, vetch, phacelia, and it had buckwheat, but weirdly the lambs went through and ate all the buckwheat. They left everything else, so there's no buckwheat. And the idea is the buckwheat and the phacelia get frost killed, but the vetch and the rye will go on until the spring.
Oh,
and
wow.
then you terminate them, so it's kind of always got living roots in it, and it grows on. And I've made 2 beds for things that needed to go in the autumn, so some bulbs, and I had Tamasetum feverfew and dianthus and lupins that went into a couple of beds. And what I'm doing is rolling out the cardboard, pushing the compost on top, planting into the compost. And the wood chip, I didn't even put any cardboard under that, because I don't really mind if a little bit of vetch comes up. I just yank it and throw it nitrogen, green manure, mulch. So I don't mind if it grows up in the path. I just pull it out, mow it, something, and chuck it on the side. So wood chip paths and mulch.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then this one, I was able to get this. Oh, here we go. In this one, because those other ones were later. So from Robin Garden's question, how is the willow circle coming along?
I've planted it all. I'm so pleased. So with so many projects going on, I just said to my husband, I've got to finish some, because as soon as things start growing, I'm just going to go absolutely crazy. So I finished planting it. It's not complete because there's still going to be lots of tying in and lots of weaving and things like that, but all the willows in. And it's starting to get the little very white buds on it that shows that it's not dead yet.
Okay. That's and then I have another one here. This is from Big Will Dog 82 in the soil. Joe, what is the biggest benefit you've gained other than being more self-sufficient?
Strong. You get really strong.
You do.
Those sacks of animal feed are 20 kilos, and I've moved 12 cubic meters of shredded wood for bedding since November. Straw bales. Yes, health benefits, fresh air, and my goodness, mental health. I used to teach, and you can, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I was right therein with the activity, behaving more like a child than the children. But that is not a natural environment. A classroom is, it's still a classroom. You're still indoors. You've still got walls. It's still restrictive, and your time is paid for from that time till that time, and then the evenings take marking and things. This is completely free. Obviously, I have to turn up and feed the animals at their regular feeding time, but I get to choose my day. I know there are weeds there, but I want to go and do that.
That's right. Exactly.
And it's creative. I didn't have to put a willow dome in. I just wanted to. I didn't have to, put the chicken runs there or build them that way. I wanted to, and where things are and how it works and which direction I went to. I didn't have to have a flower farm. I could have gone all veggies. So it's just the creative spark and I'm my own boss.
So I have another.
And I get that view.
Exactly. I do have another question here. So this one came from Dusty Flats from before. Would liability insurance be costly for a pick your own farm? Do you have all of that stuff?
Ooh. I haven't been brave enough to get a quote yet. So I have public liability insurance because you need that, because if an animal would escape and get onto the road and get hit by a car, you know, you have to pay for the repairs. It's your fault. Never happened, thankfully. But that is quite cheap. But the quote does go up and get more expensive if you have people working on your farm and people visiting your farm.
Yeah.
And that's due in March, so I need to get looking for quotes. But I don't think it's terribly expensive. I had it before, but it was a few years ago when I had people coming and going to the farm, and for me back then it was about £250.
Right.
And the other public liability one's about £100, and that's annually.
Right.
But I honestly don't know. I haven't checked out. I'm just going. I hope inflation's not as bad as I think.
I will throw this one up here from J3GS Farms. He's the honey slinger. And so he says, Joe, I got you. He's going to get you all the good honey that you need.
Oh,
so,
fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so another question here, again, coming from Robin Gardens. What are the three primary crops you are concentrating on for the self-sufficiency year coming?
So for me, I'm going big on root crops because they're starchy and they're bulky. So I've just had 6 kilos of seed potato arrive that will be going to chips. I've got my sweet potato slips that are all doing very well. And that also, we call them sweet. I think you call them rutabaga.
Okay. Is that more like a turnip? Or no,
yeah. So yeah. But we have something called a swede. I think
that's in the turnip family.
Yeah.
So our sweet potato or yams.
Turnips too.
Yeah. So our sweet potato yams are the ones that would have slips. They'd have greens on them.
Yeah.
And, eat the
so
greens.
I've got.
Yep. We all have the same.
Yeah. Okay. Squash are big for me. I always grow lots of squash. He's a bit big.
And they have a long shelf life. That's the other thing.
And then just for vitamins and for the fact that actually they kind of grow themselves with the parsnips and the carrots. And what I've really done is I've honed in, instead of going, I fancy having this carrot and that carrot, and I like this tomato and that tomato.
Right.
Instead of growing lots and lots and lots of different varieties, I've gone, right, I need good, Autumn King. They're great. I'll get a big crop. They're reliable and consistent. I'm going to grow Autumn King. If I have space and seeds, I might throw something else in.
That's awesome.
I know I can do a head count. I know I can grow enough of those. I'm growing Elsa Craig onions. I know they are reliable for me. Bedfordshire Champion. 2 onions, just in case one fails. Two types of onion. I know if I grow so many 100 onions, I'm going to have enough onions. So I've tried to really rein in the whole kid in the sweetie aisle when I go to the seed shop. That's hard. That's really hard.
Nope. That is frivolous. Those are frivolous seeds. They are fabulous, but those are frivolous for your project that you're on. That's not going to feed you for long.
Robin's terrible.
I know.
I've got to get
just
whisper it so I've got to.
Don't tell her that she's like, geez, Robin.
She's like, this is the Cherokee, Cherokee, the black. She's like, this is so flavorful, and I'm like, I'm like, no, I need a paste tomato and a salad tomato.
Yes,
stick to those.
Yeah. No, it's not a purple.
That's how I'm narrowing it down.
Yeah. Okay. So Rob Zadok says, how are your onions doing? What are those doing?
Oh, they keep growing. They're growing very tall, but they're going a bit droopy at the top. But I just but they're going okay. I've got to put them on and feed them a bit more
And
often.
another one from Big Wheel Dog. What is your composting routine like, seeing you have animals for most of the processing of garden waste?
I do. Oh, I made a whole ton, like a whole cubic meter of compost in about a month or two. It's kind of stalled out a little bit because where my compost was, I built a willow dome and I need to move it. I haven't quite got that figured out yet. But at the moment, I'm doing deep bedding. And so what's happening, I've got about 16 inches of really good old veggie scraps from the garden, loads and loads of wood chip in there and loads of chicken manure. And you can see at the top it's wood chip, but halfway down it starts looking like muddy, and at the bottom it looks like compost. So I'm going to have a massive volume. Did I say 12 cubic meters of wood chip I've moved this since the end of this November? So I'm going to have a lot when I dig that out. And I put the chicken run right next to the annual vegetable bed, so I should be able to push all that material out of one end and
brilliant
pile right next to my garden. There was
brilliant.
a plan.
I love it.
I thought about that.
That's right. I'm gonna make this happen real well. So
yeah, I've made my compost bin from the compost bin to the chicken coop.
Basically. Yeah, that's brilliant. So, Jo, spending time with you in this live and watching your channel, it feels like you're being invited into something that's real and rooted. So I do just love and thank you for sharing just who you are and how you do it. It just is just so just fabulous to me. So I do thank you for that, and for staying up. Well, it's not too late for you, right? Isn't it 9?
It's not too late for me. No. We're at 10:20 here.
Okay, yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's still reasonable time. So I do want to say to everybody in the chat, and for all of those of you that are watching the replay, so hashtag replay. If today's or tonight's, depending on where you are in the world watching, conversation has resonated with you, please go find Jo at Muddy Puddles Farm and subscribe. Let's help her beautiful channel grow. Thank you so much. So I do want to just thank you, Jo, for just spending this time and inspiring. It's really it's always all about me. So this was my pep talk, spring pep talk. Inspire me to go. It's like, thank you for being my little inspiration mentor. I do really, really appreciate that. And I always like one little closing comment. May we all have the courage to wait for our dreams, work for them, and then open our gates to share them, just like Jo has done. So thank you so much for having us, for being here. I do really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And so yes, I do believe you have a live coming up. I think it'll come up after this live has ended. And so just tell us about that live that's coming up on Wednesday.
So Wednesday, 8 p.m. UK time. I can't remember. I did write down somewhere, but I've lost a piece of paper that everybody else.
Go to her channel. Just go to her channel. It'll be right there, and say notify me.
So the thing for this one is self-sufficiency. What does it cost? Yep. And we're going to be talking about, first of all, it's not free. It has got a cost associated with it, but also talk about the costs in terms of emotional strength, because it takes that. It takes perseverance. What it takes in time. How long does it take to grow a carrot? How much does it take to tend to these animals and this land? What does it take? And also, what does it take in terms of family support and things like that? And I think we're probably because it sounds like it's all cost, actually what you gain from that as well. The emotional well-being, the mental well-being. So and I do have somebody who has they're kind of me a few years ago. They're doing the self-sufficiency thing, but they've got a small amount of land. They really want more land. So they are where I was 5-10 years ago.
Right.
They're using what they've got to be their classroom. And so they're going to come on and kind of have
That's
that
awesome.
conversation, because not everybody can just get some pigs.
No.
I
And if
know how
one's gonna
I know
one's
how
gonna shank you on the side, you got to think about that kind of pig.
I
Anyway,
haven't got any tusked pigs. I don't have any.
that's right. That's right. But anyway, so thank you for all of you in the chat for being so active, and I will go back and go through to see if there was anything that I missed in there. Tonight, I will be doing my regular scheduled live at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you are all welcome to come back, and I will have Shawnee Grows, South Florida Sunshine, and of course, Robin Grows that will be supporting with me on that. So we will say good afternoon, God bless to all of you. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.